Welcome back, Mr. Goodberry. The First Star Logistics studio is fully equipped and ready to record.
Welcome back to Bengals On The Brain, presented by First Star Logistics. I'm your host, Joe Goodberry. Since the last episode, well, not much has happened. This has been a weird free agency, and I laugh so that I don't cry, because at this point, and maybe they will sign a couple players by the time you watch this, but man, to think that you just brought back your own guys, and they brought back Ham Sample. That is one move they have done since Tuesday's episode, middle of the night, Monday night, when free agency opened. Since then, we don't have a guard still. Bengals haven't added a pass rusher. They really haven't added much of anything. So what does that leave us? I want to look at the depth chart. I want to look at where they're spending a little bit more money, because what did Duke Tobin say? I don't want to spend more for the same team.
Again, I don't want to just pay more money for the same team we had last year. We have other needs, and I want to go after those needs as well.
Well, let's see how that looks. Let's see if he's so far correct on that, because I'm with him. I don't want to spend more for the same team. So are they? We'll look at the depth chart. We'll look at the spending, and then we're going to do a mock draft, because maybe free agency is just, that's it. And business as usual, we'll get our upgrades through the draft with our 6 picks. But I'm going to do it with a bit of a theme, okay? I'll lead into it from the first 2 parts when we look at the roster, and then I'll tell you what I'm going to try and accomplish in this mock draft. All right, so we're looking at the depth chart here as the Bengals sit. We'll go in depth, I guess, look at the defense, look at the offense. And so far, let's start with the defense, right? Because that was one of the major areas of focus for the offseason. And largely, it's the same unit. I mean, we don't have Sam Hubbard, and they replace him with Joseph Osai, right? Basically, or Miles Murphy. One of the two will be one of the ends. And that's if they keep Trey Hendrickson. If not, we're looking at Murphy and Osai starting, right? BJ Hill, TJ Slayton is getting back to a big run stuffing nose tackle like they had in Reader, rather than Sheldon Rankins trying with two smaller guys to maybe get better at the pass rush. Currently, Jermaine Pratt's still on the roster. They haven't done anything yet. Logan Wilson as the other linebacker spot. Warren Burks as linebacker 3. We could probably even embolden him, but he is linebacker 3. Jordan Battle, Geno Stone at safety. They're talking highly of both those guys. DJ Turner, Cam Taylor-Britt on outside, and I'm sliding Dax Hill inside. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but I don't think you're putting Turner in there. I don't think you're putting Cam Taylor-Britt in there. I think it's Dax Hill. I do think Josh Newton's got a chance to be a solid player on that side, on the inside, I should say. Backups, Chris Jenkins, McKinley Jackson. I mean, depth chart wise, does this excite anyone, or do you look at it and say, the secondary could be all right? They're mostly all young guys. I think they're all 25 and younger. I do like Logan Wilson. Can they find another linebacker? Are they going to figure out what they're going to do with Pratt? They could be okay at linebacker. I like Warren Burks as linebacker 3. But the D-line, there's not an impact player on the inside. Do they have enough opposite of Trey Hendrickson if they keep Trey Hendrickson? Which is a whole conversation right now. As I started recording this, all the reports of teams would like to give Trey that contract that he's looking for, but they can't come to agreement on what the Bengals want in a trade because they want so much. And, well, what did we expect? It's the Bengals. Of course they want a lot. That's why they've never really traded in their history. They don't do it too often because they always want the world for their players, which doesn't make sense. If you think they're that good, pay them. Anyways, the defense does not look good. Flipping to the offensive side, currently Orlando Brown, Cordell Volson, Ted Karras, Cody Ford, and Marius Mims. If you had to line up today, that's what you would do. And if you're looking at that guard spot and saying what I'm saying or thinking, I'm with you. Not good. Jamar Chase, obviously. T. Higgins. Got to figure out both those contracts still. Chase Brown, Samaje Perine, we can probably bolden up. Samaje is running back 2. Zach Moss is still on the roster. We're not expecting him to be on the roster by the time we get to the season. So I kept him off for this, if that makes sense. Joe Burrow, quarterback. Then we got flex. And I've said Drew Sample is tight end 1. Why? Because he plays more tight end than anyone on the roster. Mike Gesicki ran 91% of his routes from the slot or out wide. He also played about 80-something percent at out wide or in the slot. He rarely gets over at the tight end spots. We got Drew Sample, Cam Grandy, Tanner McLaughlin at tight end. Over at flex is Mike Gesicki, Andre Osivach. That's your wide receiver 3. And then Tanner Hudson, Charlie Jones, Isaiah Williams. Don't feel great about that depth, but because you got Yoshi and Gesicki, you should feel good about wide receiver 3. The big issues on offense are what? I would say both guard spots, clearly. And I think they're trying. We've got rumors of them and reports and insider information that the Bengals are interested in Tevin Jenkins. He could play left or right guard. We talked about him when we went over free agents for the offensive line. Can they secure that deal? Will it happen? Can they get it done? Hopefully by the time this episode even airs, we can throw him in there. But until then, it doesn't look great. We need guards, probably need another backup running back, need a tight end. I would also like a swing tackle. I know Cody Ford can play tackle, but I don't feel great about him at tackle. So now let's move on. That's the depth chart. We don't want to pay more for the same players. Well, the defense looks exactly the same. Offense looks exactly the same so far.
Again, I don't want to just pay more money for the same team we had last year. We have other needs, and I want to go after those needs as well.
Well, how about the price? I don't want to see that just yet. Let's look. We don't have Joseph Osai's cap number as of now. At most, it's 7. And because Hubbard made about 10.1, I want to say we're at least looking at probably $3 million here. I think we're looking at $3 million. Savings. Green is savings. Red is you're paying more. DJ Turner's cap hit goes up slightly because it's next year. Jordan Battle goes up slightly. Geno Stone goes up almost $2 million this year. Oren Burks, this is in comparison to Akeem Davis-Gaither, so you're only paying slightly more there. Jermaine Pratt, his cap hit goes up a little bit. Logan Wilson's comes down a little bit. So far, what it looks like is BJ Hill's cap hit is less than last year. Hey, there's a good one. You save a little money there. TJ Slayton making a little bit less than what Sheldon Rankins did against the cap. These are numbers against the cap. Again, we've talked cap, cash, and annual value. I want to make sure I'm correct on that. If a guy gets $11 million per year, it doesn't mean his cap hit is $11 million. In this case, BJ Hill, it's 8.66666. Currently keeping Trey Hendrickson. Hendrickson's cap hit actually goes down this year. Bengals are getting an extra $1.5 million on that one. Dax Hill, instead of Mike Hilton, you're going to save $3.7 million. Cam Taylor-Britt, because he's played so much his 4th year, shot up a little bit. You're paying Cam Taylor-Britt $2.16 more on his 4th year than you were his 3rd year. So the defense so far is actually cheaper, $8.66 million cheaper than it was last year. You're not paying the same for the same players.
Again, I don't want to just pay more money for the same team we had last year. We have other needs, and I want to go after those needs as well.
But on offense, $29.2 million. They are paying $29.2 million more on offense than they did last year. That may shock some of you. I posted this on X, I know, but this is the analysis time on the show. $29 million more. Are you paying more for the same players?
Again, I don't want to just pay more money for the same team we had last year. We have other needs, and I want to go after those needs as well.
So let's look at that depth chart. Let's start with the offensive line and get in there. Orlando Brown, his cap hit actually goes down a little bit. You get an extra $1.37 million. Well, you're giving that to Cordell Volson because he has played so much through his first 3 years. His 4th year goes up. His cap hit goes up $2.42 million. Ted Karras actually comes down a little bit. Cody Ford versus Alex Kappa. This is how that's set up right now. So far, they're saving $6.68 million from what they paid Alex Kappa last year. I think that's where Tevin Jenkins comes in. That's your savings right there. Put it in there. Marius Mims' contract goes up in year 2. Drew Sample's contract comes down in year 2. They gave him a front-loaded deal last year in terms of cap hit. Don't know why they did. He played a lot, but you're saving money here. You could spend a little bit at tight end if you wanted to get better at the backup spot. We looked at the depth chart, right? Cam Grandy, Tanner McLaughlin. You could get better if you want to spend a little bit of money there. Jamar Chase's cap hit goes up $12 million in year 5. T. Higgins has gone up $4.36 million. Mike Gesicki's has gone up $5.17 million since last year. Joe Burrow's cap hit has gone up $16.38 million since last year. And the difference between Zach Moss and Samaje Perine is going to save you $1 million. So total, and I'm looking at this top left here, you're paying $29 million more for the same exact players.
Again, I don't want to just pay more money for the same team we had last year. We have other needs, and I want to go after those needs as well.
That's not what you want to be. That's not where you want to be. And it's expected. It's not a shock. When you can't get deals done with T or Jamar, it's going to increase your cap hits. You're going to spend more there. They should be able to reduce that and offset probably both of those so that you're not spending more there. Joe Burrow's contract was always going to go up. We knew that. And then that you take that offset from what you're paying the two receivers and go get yourself two guards. Bengals haven't done that yet, so they feel kind of strapped with what they're spending on offense. They're spending way more on offense. You actually can go get another pass rusher or linebacker. What do you want to do? How do you want to spend that $8.6 million on defense? Or we're going to lead into our mock draft now. Or how do you get better from here? If you're not going to go out and get a bunch of free agents, and now you're spending more on offense, and your defense still doesn't look good, you can go two ways here. And when it goes to drafting, one, heavy defense. Go heavy defense in the draft. These guys are cheap. Maybe they become impact players and they reshape your defense to be what you need to be. That would make sense in a lot of ways. And this is just looking at the starters, to be clear. Depth players, Bengals don't pay backup, so it doesn't really matter. The other option is to secure your offense, because right now your guards are going to get Burrow killed. You're not good enough at tight end one. You could probably use a backup running back. You could probably use another backup receiver if Jermaine Burton's not going to help out. The other option, and the one we're going to explore today, is screw it. Let's score 45 every game. Let's secure the offensive line. Let's get a tight end. Let's get a backup running back. And then with the picks remaining, let's help out the pass rush. Now let's jump into a mock draft. Back on the fan speak with the Joe Goodberry big board. You can see that right there. It's been updated, so it's a consensus board. Last time there were people saying, that guy won't be... It's a consensus. It takes like 50 boards on the internet, mash it together, and say, okay, from here, where do we go? That's all that is. Anyways, we're on the clock. Tyler Warren, the top player available. I'm telling you, we're going offense. We are going to score more. It's going to be the greatest show on turf. We're going to score more than anyone to the point that the defense doesn't matter. And I don't even know if that's a possibility or if that's a thing or if it can happen. But does that mean we go Tyler Warren right at the top? I would say I would like to also look at the offensive line. Kelvin Banks Jr. would not be a bad pick. Play guard, kick out the tackle in a couple years. I like Gray Zabel. Is it too early to pick Gray Zabel? Can we trade back in this scenario? I think that's where I'm leaning, because if I sit here, I think there's a big enough gap between Tyler Warren and Banks that I'm like, okay, I don't have to be here. Let's try and trade back. Let's pick up a couple picks or a pick. And that's how you help your defense later, right? Could that be the way we go? Let's see. Packers. They're right around here. Pick 23. Let me get an extra third round pick. That's about right. Propose that trade. That's accepted. Packers are moving up. All right, we're on the clock. And I know we lost our tight end. Last few picks, just to be clear. Matthew Golden went 17 to the Packers. So they moved up and get a receiver. Kenneth Grant, Mike Green, Derek Harmon, Shedeur Sanders, and then Tyler Warren at 22. If Tyler Warren was still there at 23, we were pulling the trigger. Instead, we are securing this offensive line, which isn't crazy, right? If the Bengals take an offensive lineman at 17, is anybody here mad? No, I don't think so. Kelvin Banks Jr. can play guard, can play tackle. I don't think he's ever played guard, but we're going to make this transition and we're going to put him in there because we have 2 years left on Orlando Brown Jr. While he's a steal at his price, as these guys are getting paid like crazy, I have to look at it and say, how far can we push this if he goes down? We just said earlier when we looked at the depth chart, we don't have an offensive tackle number 3. Now Banks is, so you can play guard. You keep Volson, keep Cody Ford, let them fight it out. We still needed another guard at this point. We need a tight end. I'd like to get a backup running back, another receiver. Looking at the top of the draft, Travion Henderson, Tyleik Williams. I would like both guys. I'm not going to do it. Xavier Watts would really like him at there. Not going to do it. Mason Taylor. All right. Pique my interest a little bit here. Are we going to go that direction? Tate Ratledge, are we going to secure both guard spots, start off just like that and say, hey, we're not messing around. We're going to get this offensive line set, and we're going to be able to protect Joe Burrow. And I don't have a problem with that. Tate Ratledge, 49. The offensive line is set. People that want, because people are, I can already hear you guys like, I can't believe he's doing an all offensive draft. It's not all offensive. You'll see what I'm doing. But for the people that are looking at it like, man, how can you go this route? How can you do this? Well, I mean, can you be mad at starting with 2 offensive linemen to secure this? This would be the best offensive lineman Joe Burrow has ever had. Best offensive line they've ever assembled. Potentially, maybe. After Mims last year, now 2 premium picks. Looks good. While we're developing Matt Lee as the future center, I like it. Okay, back. Dylan Sampson out of Tennessee. Jalen Royals, Utah State. Running back, wide receiver at the top. Harold Fannin Jr. near this. Do we want a tight end? How about Cam Scatterbo? How would Cam be as a complementary piece to Chase Brown? I think he'd be a great fit. Learn from Samaje Perine and pass pro. Is there a tight end though? Do we want who's got the more upside? Is Fannin the better pick there? Is he the tight end type that you want though? Not sure he is. I think I want to go with the running back. I think I want to go with Cam Scatterbo. Secure this team. Now we're back on the clock. Harold Fannin's still there. Terrence Ferguson might be the bigger, better blocker type, which is the real goal. But Fannin is such a much better prospect. How do I not do that and secure that and go that direction? We have secured the offense now. Through the first 3 rounds, we didn't do anything crazy, right? That's not insane. We got a lot of picks to help the defense out now. We got 2 guards, a tight end, and a running back. The offense is set. Now let's see what we can do. How can we get enough players here to make this worth it? I'm going to look at linebacker real quick because I'd like to not have to start Jermaine Pratt as we sit here today. Do I want Jeffrey Bassa, Barrett Carter? I could see that. We need some edge pass rusher. We need some help. Elijah Roberts and David Walker would love to have either one. Roberts is more a guy that can kick inside and rush from inside, which could help them a lot right now. I'm going to have to compare it to the defensive tackle room. David Walker, small school, but dude is good. D-line, Jordan Phillips, Ty Hamilton, Riley Mills can rush a little bit. Ooh, that's making my decision a little bit closer. I think the idea here with Roberts is a backup DN that can also kick inside and rush from the inside. The Bengals don't have that because I don't like the D-line options right here of the guys that can rush the passer. Maybe later I can find someone, but I really like getting a guy that can do a little bit of both in Elijah Roberts there in round 4. I would love David Walker, though, too. I think David Walker is very good. So if you would have said, just get an edge guy, we'll figure that out from there. I would have been with you. I understand what you're saying. All right. I also liked, I did see a safety there I liked. Am I ready to go safety? Is that what we want to do? I want to get a linebacker that we like. We only have 5th and 6th round to go. Is there a defensive tackle that we absolutely have to have? Thor Griffith can rush a passer. Riley Mills from Notre Dame. I think there's a lot of upside still there. I think he can help you play. Is he better than McKinley Jackson and Chris Jenkins? Not sure. Does he have to be? Doesn't have to be your 5th guy, right? Linebacker, safety, corner. Couple guys there at safety that I would be into. I'm going to go linebacker first. We've done Jack Kaiser before. How about Cody Simon? How about Kobe King? How about Shamar James? Jay Higgins? Teddy Buchanan? I like all of them. I would say let's go with Jack Kaiser, though. Let's give Al Golden the guy he wants back there, right? Let's give him the linebacker. And I'm hoping, I have my eye on a safety here that scores super high for us. And I will pull it up so I can show you. I'm going to go with Hunter Wooler from Wisconsin at safety to finish this thing off. So we're starting with offense. We even had a trade back. I'm going to show you Hunter Wooler before we go too far here. All right, our picks are right here. Calvin Banks Jr., Tate Ratledge, Cam Scatterbo. We got 2 offensive linemen, a running back, a tight end, Harold Fannin Jr. That's like almost best case scenario for these first 4 rounds. Or it was just 3 rounds because we traded back. That's right. First 3 rounds. Elijah Roberts, big DN that can kick inside. He can rush the passer. He's defensive tackle, small D tackle size. Jack Kaiser, who was a great linebacker, cover linebacker too, out of Notre Dame to go with Al Golden. And Hunter Wooler at safety, who I think is going to be one of the steals of the draft. Let's pull up his profile so I can show you. All right, got the safeties here. Nick Emanwari is the top safety in our spreadsheet so far. Number 2 is Hunter Wooler, and he's 206th on the consensus. That's why I got him there in the 6th round. Why is he so high for us? 4-year player. He's 22 years old, 6'2", 213 at safety. Okay, 6'2", 213. 4.57 passable. Everything else on his RAS card was fantastic. He's an elite athlete. His market share production, 95th percentile. PFF puts him in 74.5. They absolutely love him. Career forced incompletion, 16%. That's higher than anyone you see right there, right? Yards allowed in his career, 455 in coverage. Go over just a little bit more. Look at this right here, okay? What does he do really well? Almost 82nd percentile for run defense, or for just defense in general from PFF. Tackling, though. What do we need at safety? We need tackling. 94th percentile. Emanwari, 97th percentile. Kevin Winston Jr., 99th percentile. We want to get some tacklers. Xavier Watts is actually 50, almost 2nd percentile. Malachi Starks, 90, almost 8th percentile. Missed tackles. Winston, no missed tackles, by the way. Wooler, 89th percentile. Forced incompletions, like I just said, 89th percentile. Ball hawk, which is how often you get your hands on the ball completely, past the fence, interceptions, all that, 72nd percentile. His career yards per coverage snap, 88th percentile. Yards per target, 80th percentile. Yards per, or yak per reception in your career, 75th percentile. The guy's good. He's got a good profile. Athletic, great size. Hunter Wooler, steal of the draft. So that's how deep into madness the Bengals free agent first week has driven me. That I'm doing an all offense mock draft as the defense looks pretty bad again. The pass rush looks bad. They haven't extended any of the top 3 guys that they need to extend and keep, because let's face it, if they lose Trey Hendrickson, we're looking at the worst pass rush in the league. And rookies don't fix your pass rush, especially at defensive tackle. 2 guys last year at defensive end were in the top 30 for pass rush win rate that were rookies at end. At D tackle, none of them. Rookies don't fix it. That's why I said last year when they had McKinley Jackson and Chris Jenkins, and they're like, yeah, this will do it. No, it won't. Year before, Miles Murphy, that'll do it. No, it won't. It won't do it unless you get lucky. And I've made the case before, the Bengals are always trying to get lucky. They're playing the odds and they're stacked against them, but they'll continue to play them. I do expect they'll sign a veteran guard at some point, but 2 of them, now I'm feeling like I'm asking for too much. They're gaslighting us into thinking we're asking for too much when we're not. I just learned that word recently, so I wanted to use it. It'll be all right. We got Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Chase Brown, Mike Gesicki, maybe Trey Hendrickson too. We'll have to see. I don't think the Bengals are trading him at this point because reports are they want a lot for him. Then just pay him and let's move on with our lives. This has been Bengals on the Brain, presented by First Star Logistics. I'm Joe Goodberry. Until they sign somebody, who dey?
Hey, Dave Lapham here. While games are over for the season, there's no off-season for the First Star Media Group or First Star Logistics. Join me in the trenches and Joe Goodberry of Bengals on the Brain here on the First Star Media Group YouTube channel. First Star Logistics gave away great prizes during the season, which will continue with exclusive content and special giveaways during the off-season. So please subscribe to the channel and hit the like button to help us continue to grow the channel.